Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Rolene Marks. This is the Israel Brief, as always, brought to you by Lay of the Land, where we take a look at those headlines making news here in Israel. And it is day 81 of Israel's war against Hamas. Now, before we get into the headlines, I just want to address a story that has come across my news desk a short while ago, and that is the slaughter of Christians in Nigeria over the Christian period. About 160 Nigerian Christians were tortured and massacred across Nigeria by Islamic terrorists, and the world is silent. Not a peep, not a protest, not a condemnation, not a UN resolution, nothing. And it is a reminder that while Israel's conflict with the Palestinians, which is dwarfed by other conflicts around the world, gets the lion's share of attention, it comes at the expense of the murders and the conflicts in other places around the world. And while the other media will be silent about the slaughter of Christians, we here at Lay of the Land will not be. Let's take a look at some of those stories making headlines, and we begin with the north. And Hezbollah has claimed responsibility for about 18 rockets fired towards northern Israel during the course of the day. The red alert sirens went off in Rosh HaNikra. Many of you know Rosh HaNikra in the north of the country with the beautiful grotto, and the Iron Dome intercepted those rockets there. Israel and Hezbollah have been exchanging fire quite routinely throughout the last 3 months, and this does seem to be escalating. Yesterday we brought you the story that Hezbollah had fired an anti-tank missile onto a church in the Palestinian city of Ikrit. This is in the north of Israel. The church is the Mary Magdalene Catholic Church. An elderly man was injured as he was performing the prayers for Christmas, and 9 soldiers were injured while they were trying to help him. The IDF did comment yesterday, calling it a clear violation of the freedom of religion and a violation of UN Resolution 1701. Israel's comptroller earlier today said that he will conduct, and his office will conduct, a thorough investigation into the events of the 7th of October. He said that thousands of Israelis were abandoned to their fate on Simchat Torah and that no stone will go unturned. The Ramatkal, the IDF Chief of Staff, has accepted responsibility for the 7th of October attacks, as has the Minister of Defense, the head of the Shabak, the head of the Mossad, the head of the Army Intelligence, former Prime Minister Naftali Bennett, and others. Prime Minister Netanyahu, while stopping short of claiming responsibility and apologizing, has said that he will also face a thorough investigation. Earlier today, Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas called for an end to Israel's war with Hamas, saying that he demands that all the humanitarian crossings are opened, that there is a doubling of humanitarian aid, and that displaced Palestinians can return to their homes. He called it a crime against Palestinians. He also has not condemned the atrocities of the 7th of October. And while we're on the subject of Abbas, who's in the 18th year of his 4-year term, this is the entity that many are hoping will take responsibility for the Gaza Strip following the end of Hamas. Meanwhile, Hamas has said that the events of October were in response to the attacks on the Al-Aqsa Mosque, and we would just like to remind Hamas that not once has Israel attacked the Al-Aqsa Mosque. This is despite many terrorists hiding inside the mosque, using it as a human shield to throw stones and projectiles onto Jewish and Christian worshippers on the forequarter of the Wailing Wall down below. The Iranians have also said that the 7/10 attacks were in retaliation to the assassination of Qasem Soleimani, something that Hamas disputes. The IDF have also released a recording between one of our soldiers and a Palestinian man, in which the Palestinian man complains that Hamas is taking all the humanitarian aid that is earmarked for Palestinian citizens. We've also heard from leaders of Hamas who say that the aid must go to what they call their fighters first. Remember, these are the same Hamas leaders who have said that the civilians in the Gaza Strip are not their problem, that they are the responsibility of the United Nations. Prime Minister Netanyahu has appealed to China to please help to secure the release of Israeli hostage Noah Argamani. Argamani was taken on the 7th of October, and last week NBC News in the United States broadcast a segment where they say they believe that she wasn't taken by Hamas terrorists, but rather by Palestinian civilians who also infiltrated and kidnapped Israeli civilians. And they don't know where she is being held in the Gaza Strip. Noah's mother is terminally ill with brain cancer. She has appealed to President Biden to please do everything he can to secure her release, as she worries that she will pass away without ever seeing her daughter again. And finally, because we really are trying to end off every bulletin with some good news, Malawi has announced that next week they will be opening their embassy in Tel Aviv. Malawi will become the 99th country to have an embassy in Israel, and relations between Israel and Malawi have seriously strengthened since the 7th of October. And to help Israeli farmers with the shortage of labor in the fields, agricultural workers, hundreds of Malawians will be coming to Israel to help our farmers. That is a lesson for some other countries. I'm talking about you, South Africa, about the possibilities of employment if you treated Israel like your family and instead of a pariah. And that brings me to the end of today's edition of the Israel Brief. Please don't forget to check out our website at www.layoftheland.online. Our YouTube channel is at the Israel Brief. As always, if you like us, please click on that subscribe button. We really want to grow our community. Hey, it helps us. We are on Facebook. Our community is at Lotlsite, at LOTLSITE, and we're on X at Lay of the Land 5. I'm Rolene Marks. Guys, please take care of yourselves and each other, and I'll see you again for your news tomorrow.